Hi, I'm Rose. I am the singer who recently worked on Songs to Siren for Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. And today I'm going to be answering some questions about the process of creating that version and of working with Zack. And yeah, just a little bit about the backstory of the whole thing. So let's get stuck in with, can you do a live version? Straight in. Yes, I can and I will. And I'm working on it. I'm just figuring out the best way to do it because currently this setup will not do. I need a real piano and a beautiful room for that, I think. So I'm working on it. How much input did Zack have? Zack obviously had input. He didn't have a huge amount of input in the arrangement, apart from the fact that he did probably make this cool to have strings on it, which is quite a big thing to do because it really changed the piece and it made it so much better. We had a lovely chat when I got confirmed for the project, and he talked about what he loved about the demo and about how much he wanted to keep that feeling. So that was a real focus for me, was making sure that I remembered to do that and really focused on what had made the demo special, so that when we did the final version it had all of those ingredients in it. Did you know what scene it was going to be on before recording? If so, how much did you know and how did it shape your approach? I knew nothing about this going in. I didn't know what film it was. I didn't know what scene it was going to be over. I just had about 3 lines of a description that the editor who reached out to me for this project gave me, and she just wrote a little, it was a description of the scene now that I know that I've seen the scene, but it was very loose. It was just basically about 2 people who fall in love at first sight, and then one of them gets involved in a car crash and the other person is like rushing to save them in slow motion. So I kind of had a picture of a scene. I had no idea it involved superheroes and superpowers or anything like that, but I had a picture of like the emotions of the scene, which was super helpful and completely shaped my approach, because it was just completely about how do I bring out that colour in the song so that it enhances what's in the film. What did they like about your voice? I don't know. I think maybe because it's got some Celtic vibes going on, and hopefully it just didn't get in the way of the scene. It just did the right thing. I have to ask that. When are you making an album? I'm making one now. I'm mixing it currently as we speak. Well, I'm not. People are. Some lovely people are mixing it for me. They are mixing it in LA, and it's going to be out quite soon, and we're having a single out soon as well, which is beyond exciting because I've been waiting a long time to get these songs out and I can't wait to share them. So trust me, when my album has a release date, you will know. What inspired me to choose this song? Why this song? I didn't that was all them. That was all Zack and Debbie and the team, and I'm not totally sure why. I assume it's because they loved the song and they thought it fitted for the scene. You need to ask them that. I think it fits really well. Was this song meant to be in the 2017 version or made for the Snyder cut? Well, it was recorded for the Snyder cut, so everything about this song, I've been only involved since July of last year, so I definitely wasn't involved in the 2017 version at all. Maybe in his original vision he saw this song going over that scene and obviously didn't get to see it through, so maybe it was always there and he managed to actually realise it this time round. But that is another question for Zack. If there was a hard part while writing this song, what was the hardest part? Well, I have to say I did not write it. I wish I had, and thank you for thinking that I did. No, it was actually Tim Buckley and Larry Beckett wrote this song, and what a song they wrote. The only hard thing I would talk about in reference to doing a cover is that thing of you're up against quite a few other people's versions of the song, and it's quite a well-renowned and respected and loved song, so there's a bit of pressure that goes along with that, and there's also the kind of, it's not easy to find your own voice in a cover, especially if there are other versions out there. So that was hard, and it was also quite hard to keep the feeling that I'd kind of created in the demo and then put that into the version that we created for the film, because there were many months. It was like July is when I sent my demo in, and January of this year is when we recorded the final version. So I had to kind of go back and listen to all the decisions that I'd made vocally specifically in the first version, because Zack had made such a point of saying, like, we loved that version. They kind of wanted the same but better, so it's really hard to do that with demos, and that took a lot of work and really kind of listening to what I'd done originally. Why did they choose you? Well, I'm glad they chose me, and I think it's the same thing of I think it must have been that it fitted the scene. The version that I created fitted the scene best. I know that's probably the only thing that went in. That's probably the main thing that went into it. I'm just grateful that they did. What was the inspiration for this song? Well, you'll have to ask Larry and Tim about that. I imagine that it was something to do with love and sirens and longing and all the things that the song is about, but who knows? It could have been something completely else. How did you come up with your arrangement? I listened to a lot of other people's versions, of course, going in, and kind of, well, I loved them. They were really great. There's some really lovely versions out there. Obviously, I really loved the Mortal Coil version. I love how haunting it is and open and spacious. So I took a lot of influence from that. I loved what she created. That it was quite filmic. And then I kind of tried to find my own thing. I kind of was trying to find sounds that sounded watery and sounded like they could have been underwater and a bit submerged. So I kind of went for a super dampened piano sound. And in my original demo, I kind of had a few kind of haunting, like gull-like sounds, which the strings kind of took the place of that. So we didn't need any of those things anymore. How did you get this opportunity? Did you audition? No, I didn't. Well, technically I did actually. So I know an editor who is a really lovely person, and she worked on the film and thought of me and reached out and asked me to submit a demo. So at that point it's kind of like it's solicited, but it's still an audition technically, because I'm sending in a demo like hundreds and hundreds of other people, and it's just a question of which one they prefer. So technically, yes, I did audition. When did you record it? I recorded it in January 7th. I think it was the last thing that was recorded for this film, unless Hallelujah was done afterwards, which I need to check with Alison on that. It was recorded in Air Studios in London, which is where they recorded Lord of the Rings, which was a massive fangirl moment for me. So that was blooming exciting. And it was all done in a day. It was all done, I did my vocals and piano at the same time together before lunch, and then they did the strings, and then we mixed it. It was pretty quick turnover. What did you feel? These are really chronological. That's really cool. What did you feel when you were offered to do this song for one of the most highly anticipated movies of the last few years? How was it to see it finally pay off in the movie? Well, as you can imagine, when I found out, when I submitted the demo, I knew nothing, and then months went by and I kind of tried to forget about it a bit. And then I got a random call in December that told me, you got the job, and I was just so psyched that I'd even got the job. And then they told me what film it was, and I was just quite shell-shocked, really, because I'd never thought that I would end up working with something at that level. So yeah, it was a surreal moment, to say the least. And then seeing it in the film was weird. Initially, when I first heard it, it kind of sounded like I had just put it in myself, kind of. I just inserted my voice in, because I've heard myself so much, so it just sounded a bit weird. But the second time I've watched the film, I was ready for it, so I was able to see it and not be freaked out. And it was huge. Of course, it was mega. I still can't really believe it. I still watch it, and a part of me just goes, "That's not quite real." How did Zack reach out? Well, as I said, he didn't initially, but we did have lovely Zoom chats, and where he told me all about how much he loved the demo and what he wanted to keep from it, and he's continued to be great, just so supportive, and just a great guy. I cannot sing that guy's praises enough, but we all know that he's brilliant. What do the lyrics mean to me? I love the lyrics. They're beautiful. They are the kind of thing that I wish I would write, and the kind of thing that I try to write. They're kind of like the kind of that part of you that makes the kind of aching, bittersweet, melancholic part of us all that we can all tap into, and I think we kind of shut it off quite a lot. But it's that we all have it in us, that kind of deep feeling and longing to be loved and to love, and that's why I think this song is so eternal and timeless, because it's about these huge themes of what it is to be human. So that's, I mean, I love the lyrics. I think it's one of those rare things where the lyrics are as good as the melody and the melody is as good as the lyrics, and everything is perfect about it. And then the idea of the song, it all lives up to it. You know, it's all as good as each other kind of thing. So it's a really kind of rare thing, a very perfect song. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's nice that's the last question, but yeah, it's a beautiful song. It means a lot to me, and now it means even more because of people's responses to it and how many people have had amazing moments when they've watched it and then continued to appreciate it and share it with their families and their loved ones, and then to share their stories with me. I love each and every single one of the stories that I receive, and I'm just so honoured to have been a part of this incredible project, which has involved so many people who are so passionate about this film and about Zack and about his work and about the meaning of all of it. And yeah, I'm just thrilled to be a part of it, and it was nice to do these questions. Feel free to send more. I'm, as always, just honoured to be a part of this.